So we've heard for the last 2 weeks. Obviously, last week it was after Iowa. We heard it for the rest of the week. This week after New Hampshire, we heard it for the rest of the week. And that is that Donald Trump is absolutely crushing it in these Republican primaries and caucuses. Which is true if you don't understand how numbers work. If you're just looking at the end result, win or loss, yeah, Donald Trump is winning. But you have to look at the individuals that Donald Trump is winning with. For example, his victory in Iowa last week only represented 3% of the overall registered voters in the state of Iowa. His victory in Iowa only represented 7% of registered Republicans in the state, and of course they had record low turnout. And then in New Hampshire this week, Donald Trump fared a little bit better, although there were only 300,000 votes cast, so, not exactly tearing it up there. But it's the independents and the moderate Republicans that overwhelmingly rejected Donald Trump, both in New Hampshire and in Iowa. Things are so bad for Donald Trump that even a Fox News poll found that 35% of the people in New Hampshire that voted for Nikki Haley said that they would never, ever vote for Donald Trump. They would instead vote for Biden over Trump if Trump is the nominee. 35% of Haley voters in New Hampshire said that. Similar numbers came out of Iowa as well, by the way. So you have an overwhelming number of people that are telling you in these Republican primaries that, yes, I am a Republican, or I'm a Republican-leaning independent, but if he's the guy, I'm a Biden voter. That's horrible for Donald Trump. It's not horrible for the country. It's great for the country. Horrible for Donald Trump. And he's whistling past the graveyard doing his touchdown celebrations after every small little race that he wins. These are not victories. When you look into the numbers, when you finally start to realize, wait a minute, there's more than just a win and loss column here. You start to see that it may be that Donald Trump has no realistic path to the presidency. And I'll add something else on top of that. I've talked about it over at Ring of Fire. I talked about it here earlier in this week, but I'll talk about it again because it bears repeating. Donald Trump is now the central focus of the media. And every time that happens for him, his approval rating goes down. More people say they do not like him. He loses ground with the moderates, the independents. And that is exactly what's happening right now. Because think about this. What's happened in the last few weeks? What has the media been talking about other than Trump's massive victories? It's been nonstop talking about Donald Trump's very obvious cognitive decline. Now, they haven't done that before. Trump's mental decline has been very obvious to a lot of us that have been covering him for years and years now. But the media repeatedly ignored it. But now we have outlets like the New York Times, the Washington Post, The Hill, all of these big corporate outlets that are now talking about Donald Trump's mental state and why we should be worried about it. And they're doing it because there's no more distractions. Trump benefits from distractions. When there were other Republicans out in the field, Chris Christie, Vivek Ramaswamy, Ron DeSantis, and of course Nikki Haley, who's still there, those people sucked up some of the headlines. Not anymore. Now it's all Trump all the time. And the more they do that, the more they talk about his gaffes, the more they talk about his mental state, the more they talk about the horrible plans he has for a second term, the less people are going to like him. The more he does rallies, which he is increasing the frequency of his rallies now, that turns people off. And he's already probably turned off enough people as it is right now to not have an actual shot at winning in November. So if this keeps up, I do think this is going to be a fairly easy election for President Biden. Now, that doesn't mean he just needs to sit back, put his feet up, and let Trump tink himself. No. He needs to be out there. He needs to be talking about this, but he needs to be talking about some of Trump's actions too. Get the media talking about it even more. But the signs are already there that Trump doesn't actually have a coalition of unified Republican voters, and he cannot win an election with nothing but the MAGA cult behind him. Hi everyone, this here is Little Athena, and Athena would like to know why you haven't subscribed to Fair and Balanced yet, so please, don't let Athena down. Subscribe today.